Now, statistics show fruit and vegetable consumption is trending down. So our next speaker is going to speak about the journey of a produce business that's attracting customers as well as premium prices. Belinda Wilson is Managing Director of International Fresh Produce Association, Australia and New Zealand, and she's going to present to us Perfection Fresh's journey from commodity products to premium branded produce. Please welcome Belinda to the stage.
Well, good morning, everybody. Yes, apologies, I do have a flight to catch back to Melbourne, but I am having such a great time here that I may actually postpone that flight. If someone can just let my partner know, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Well, I'm Belinda Wilson, so I'm the Managing Director of International Fresh Produce Association, Australia and New Zealand. You'll hear me say IFPA a little bit. We're a global membership organisation and we represent the entire supply chain to grow prosperity through global advocacy, connections and future-proofing the industry. Now today I'm going to be sharing a story that speaks to the power of innovation. It's not just what we grow, but how we position it. It's the story of Perfection Fresh, who is actually a founding member of IFPA ANZ. I'll be sharing with you how Perfection Fresh have reshaped what it means to be a fresh produce brand. As growers, producers, retailers, we know the challenge of competing in commoditised categories, where pricing is volatile, products are interchangeable, and consumer loyalty is fragile, not to mention year-on-year declining consumption. Today, I want to explore what happens when we flip that model and start treating fresh produce like the premium product it truly is. So first, just a little bit about Perfection Fresh Australia. It's one of Australia's largest private-owned fresh produce businesses, founded by Tony Simonetta in 1978. It started as a small market stall and fruit market in southwest Sydney, which led to a wholesale market stand in the Sydney markets, and then the business grew exponentially with expansion into wholesale markets across Australia, their own farms domestically and internationally, and production facilities, enabling them to further secure their own supply and also expand their product offering. The business is renowned for leading innovation and marketing in horticulture, having some of Australia's best loved produce brands such as Calypso mangoes, Broccolini, Collie Blossom, Fioretto, Qukes baby cucumbers, and much, much more. The two that I'm going to speak about today are Broccolini and Qukes, both examples of where Perfection Fresh invested in IP, plant rights, and storytelling. In the case of Broccolini, it was about finding a gap in the market, and in the case of Qukes, directly addressing the declining consumption where it needs to be fixed, in particular, children. So let's just take a step back first and look what a brand is, what it builds. A brand isn't just a name on a box or a punnet. It's a story. It's the colours, it's the symbols and the design that sparks recognition. But more importantly, it's the meaning and the emotion behind them. Now, this is hard for me. I am an Aussie, but think of the All Blacks. It's a great example. It's a really powerful one. The All Blacks aren't just a rugby team. They're a story of national pride, discipline and identity. Wearing the jersey, it isn't about the fabric. It's pretty much not about the fabric at all. It's about belonging to something bigger. When consumers connect their brand with a story, the consumers then buy more easily. They stay loyal, they pay a premium, recommend it to others, and they resist the competition. A brand is emotion made visible, and that emotion drives choice. When fresh produce looks like a commodity, it only competes on price. But when you add branding and storytelling, everything changes. You offer consumers more than just a product. You offer meaning. You can invest in marketing that educates, inspires, and entertains. You build awareness, create loyalty, and shift consumer behaviour. The result? Differentiation, trust, and premiums. And just like the All Blacks, they can fill a stadium, strong brands in produce can fill shopping baskets. So let's take a look about the rise of broccolini. I'll start with a video for you.
Broccolini isn't just a delicious superfood with goodies like folate, fibre, vitamin C and antioxidants. It's also incredibly easy to cook. So next time you need to add some healthy deliciousness to just about any dish, just reach for broccolini, the super simple superfood.
Simple as, bro. So, how did broccolini become the rock star that it is? It all started in 1999. Perfection Fresh made a bold investment. They spotted a clear gap in the market. Consumers wanted better flavour, less waste, and something a little bit different on the plate. Broccolini offered all of that. A distinctive look, 100% edible, and a premium eating experience. But having the product alone was not enough. They secured the variety and the trademark, making sure that they had exclusivity in both the growing and the marketing. They built a brand and a story around it, not just selling a vegetable, but selling convenience, taste, health, and inspiration. And if we fast forward through to today, and almost half of Australian households, that's 47%, are buying broccolini as a regular purchase. And it hasn't just stopped at awareness. The marketing has evolved to focus on how often people buy it and how much they put in the basket. It's a perfect example of how spotting a gap, protecting the IP, and telling the right story can transform a category. They in Australia, and I'm sorry I don't have the New Zealand stats, but in Australia they are selling 60 million bunches every single year. And since they started in 1999, they have sold over 600 million bunches. That's 1.6 billion serves of broccolini since 1999. That's pretty impressive. So how did they create this momentum, this success? When broccolini first launched, Perfection knew that exclusivity was the key. They created the brand story and worked closely with a retail partner to initially manage volumes, pricing, and promotions. That partnership set the stage for a successful rollout. From there, the program extended beyond launch partner into the whole market, with clear targets to capture the share of the broccoli category. But growth wasn't just about branding. It was also about building a grower base and ensuring supply. They invested in regional diversity across Australia to guarantee year-round production. Once broccolini was established domestically, the success went internationally. Perfection Fresh commenced exports to New Zealand and Asia, and even launched plantings in China for sale within China, and also the broader Asian market. All managed and marketed by Perfection Fresh. On the marketing side, broccolini was positioned as a premium niche product, grown 12 months of the year. Together with retailers, they even created a promotional window, Broccolini month, in store. And by cross-promoting proteins and long-life products with Broccolini, they pushed the boundary beyond the produce aisle, inspiring meal solutions and driving consistent purchasing, building consumer loyalty. And that figure again, 60 million bunches of Broccolini every year. So let's talk Qukes. I'll tell you later how I have my Qukes. There's no prize though. So Qukes started their journey 14 years after Broccolini. They started in 2013. And Perfection Fresh saw another opportunity, this time the snacking market. Parents were looking for healthier options, kids wanted something tasty and fun, and the healthy eating trend was gaining momentum. The Gap was the perfect space for Qukes. Perfection Fresh once again secured exclusivity, so exclusive seed access to the leading variety, and created a Perfection-owned brand around it. And just like Broccolini, it wasn't only about just having that product. It was about protecting it, trademarking it, and building a really strong identity. From the very beginning, the focus was on brand recognition and consumer connection. Qukes weren't just cucumbers. They became a trusted, fun, healthy snack option. And that simple shift in positioning opened up a huge and whole new category in fresh produce. When Qukes launched, Perfection Fresh knew the story had to be compelling. They worked hand in hand with retail partners, not just on volume and pricing, but on how the product would be positioned and promoted. The goal was clear: make Qukes stand out as a branded snack and set ambitious targets for its year-on-year growth. The initial target they set was 13% year-on-year growth, and as you can see from that graph, they have blown that out of the water. On the production side, they built a really strong grower base, and they combined their own farms with carefully selected partners, all using protected cropping to ensure consistency and quality. That secure supply gave them the brand and the strength to scale. But what really set Qukes apart was the marketing. Perfection Fresh invested heavily in layered campaigns to build awareness and bring new consumers into the category. Each season, fresh marketing assets were developed, from TV, radio, and billboard advertising to retailer point of sale, recipe ideas, and consumer education. They backed this up with PR, social media, and activations at events, including trade shows, both in Australia and internationally. The result? Well, Qukes have become more than just a cucumber. They've become a household name in healthy snacking. And 35 million punnets are sold every year. That's school lunches to accompanying cheese and wine. 35 million punnets every year. So we've heard about what works. But can we apply those same principles to industry to solve our declining consumption problem? Similar to Australia, the recommended intake in New Zealand is at least 5 serves of veggies and 2 of fruit. But I was actually horrified to find out that your official reporting doesn't even measure New Zealanders against that benchmark. Instead, it tracks at the lower benchmark of just 3 serves of veg and 2 of fruit. And similar, scary as it is in Australia, fewer than 1 in 3 New Zealand adults meet that, and for veggies alone, it's fewer than 20%. So Australia, we're not doing any better. Our Bureau of Statistics reported earlier this year that in 5 years, average daily vegetable intake has dropped, meaning that's up to 274 million kilograms of fresh produce that is missing from our diets every single year. That's a cost to health, to government, to industry. And while all this is happening, junk food consumption is surging. It's forecast to climb another 18% in the next 5 years. That's 40% growth in just 15 years. But we do know that campaigns can shift the dial. When Perfection Fresh and Aldi trialled a Sesame Street campaign on fresh produce, having Cookie Monster, or should I say Cookie Monster, on packs of Qukes, sales jumped by 6%. That's proof that when we tell the right story, consumers respond. The reality that we're facing as an industry, that people in this room, we are not competitors. The real competition is the ones that are stealing our customers. They're the fast, unhealthy, and uninspiring junk food options. They have strong brands, big marketing budgets, and they're winning consumer attention. But Perfection Fresh showed us that with Broccolini and Qukes, when you build a story, you can create a new demand. And that's exactly the thinking behind IFPA's newest initiative, Fruit and Veggies Yummy Yummy. Now, this is a 12-month collaboration with one of the world's most trusted and influential brands, especially when it comes to kids, the Wiggles. We are partnering with some incredible Australian funders, and including AusVeg and Plus One Serve that you've just heard from as well as a collaborative partner. This partnership with the Wiggles is a full-scale movement designed to inspire kids and families to eat more fruit and veggies. It's activating across multiple channels, and just Australia at this point in time. It'll be in the Wiggles Australian concerts later this year, in supermarkets, in the media, in social media, and it's all underpinned by a website, dedicated campaign website, fruitandveggies.org. It is a look and feel like the Wiggles website, and it's really designed at that entry point, which is children, making fruit and veggies fun. And encouraging learning about fruit and veg through play. So why kids? Well, we know when it comes to building long-term demand from fruit and veg, kids are key influencers. We recently did a survey at IFPA and we found, once again, sorry, Australian data, but we found that in Australia, 51% of parents said that their kids cook with them by the age of 8. And most Australian children go grocery shopping with their parents. 96% also told us that their kids influence what ends up in the trolley. So these kids are not just watching, they're actively shaping their family's food culture every single day. And that's exactly why we've partnered with the Wiggles. Because if we want to create change that lasts, we need to start with a generation that's already steering the conversation at home. And although we're a few months in, when the Wiggles and the Tree of Wisdom announced their Australian tour a few weeks ago now, they did it from a Perfection Fresh Qukes greenhouse, hence the photo up there. And that went live to air and across social media. And on that day for that launch, we know that over 1 million people saw that. They saw Qukes where they grow in a greenhouse. Over the week, that audience reached out to 12 million people, and the tickets for the concert sold out in a matter of minutes. They're hotter than hot potatoes, I have to say, these Wiggles. So that is the power of influence. And this campaign, it's designed to benefit the whole industry by tackling declining consumption head on, showing what is possible when we band together. I do have a flight to catch, but if you would like to know more about the campaign or how we can bring fruit and veggies yummy yummy to New Zealand, please reach out to me. So in summing up, what can we take from this story? Perfection Fresh shows us that when you stop treating fresh produce as a commodity and start treating it like a brand, everything changes. With Broccolini, they created a premium product out of a gap in the market. With Qukes, they made vegetables fun, snackable, and kid-friendly. And I promised I'd share with you. I eat my Qukes. It encourages me to have a gin and tonic. It's all about the Quke, though, I promise. And now, as an industry, we're applying that same thinking with our Wiggles partnership. It's about storytelling, trusted voices, and creating positive food experiences that last a lifetime. The message is clear. If we want to grow consumption and command value, we need to innovate, we need to brand, and we need to inspire. This isn't just a Perfection Fresh's story. It's a roadmap for all of us. Because when we tell the right story, consumers listen. And when consumers listen, they choose fresh produce. Thank you, everyone.
We have got time for one question. If we've got a question out there, someone with something burning they want to know. There we go. We've got a question right here in the middle. Karen Williams.
My favourite, your question's going to be the Wiggles. It's purple is my
Yeah.
favourite. Yeah, sorry.
No, it wasn't. It was a really good presentation, thank you. I'm CEO of Irrigation New Zealand, so I was having a water lens across it. But my question was the spelling of Qukes and why you went for the QU rather than the CU, however you might define it.
Sure. So I'm speaking on behalf of Perfection Fresh, and so who knows what discussions happen around their boardroom table, but I do know that they've really played with it. So the QU, and you saw in the advertising, everything changed to a QU, and even Cookie Monster, QU Monster. So not too sure, but it's once again, it's really on brand. It's playful. It's about sort of turning things on its head. Expect the unexpected.
Thank you.
No, looks as though everyone is very supportive of you catching your flight. Thank you so much for your presentation there, and yeah, give her a round of applause.